Good morning, all our fans at the Dog Connection show. We are so excited today. Today we have a live demonstration coming from the Canine Companions of Independence out of the Northeast region. And we're going to welcome our guest now. Please welcome Lauren Ferrioli. She's a Canine Companions graduate program manager and the senior instructor. Welcome, Lauren. What we're going to do now, oh, and this is Gaetan, my co-host and my partner. What we're going to do before we start is we're going to show a video to give you a little bit of idea of what the CCI does. That's the acronym CCI. So if you'll just hang on here a second, we're going to bring this to the broadcast and going to play this for you and be right with you.
Okay. Video now.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Heidi, a fully trained assistance dog from Canine Companions for Independence. Canine Companions for Independence is a nonprofit organization that enhances the lives of people with disabilities by providing highly trained assistance dogs free of charge. I work here at the Northeast Region's Miller Family Campus, located in Medford, Long Island. The Miller Family Campus has been our home since 2008. Please join me on a tour of our 11-acre, 39,000 square foot facility where we work to enhance the lives of people with disabilities. Follow me inside to see things through my eyes and from my point of view.
Push.
Every day, we receive applications from children, adults, veterans, and facilities in need of a highly trained assistance dog. The demand for our exceptional dogs is growing all the time. It keeps our building bustling with activity. Around every corner is a warm welcome or a pat on the head. Friendly faces always fill the building. Our highly skilled staff, enthusiastic volunteers, a pair of live-in feline training buddies, a few of our very own pet dogs, and sometimes even puppies. Before coming to professional training, our puppies are raised by volunteers in loving homes for the first year and a half of their lives. This is where they begin their journey to become an exceptional assistance dog. Now let's take a look around. Our 39,000 square foot, fully accessible facility was constructed for the comfort and care of both people and dogs alike. We have 11 dorm rooms, and each of our overnight guests enjoys a private room and bath, 24-hour assistance from our in-house caretaker, and full use of our guest laundry room.
Tug. That's it. Good girl.
Whether they're staying 2 nights or 2 weeks, guests have everything they need. Around the corner in Bogey's Bistro, employees and guests can gather in the communal lounge. It's a great meeting place to prepare a meal or enjoy one donated by one of our dedicated volunteers. With the state-of-the-art kitchen and comfortable living space, our guests feel right at home. Speaking of kitchens, our Miller Family Campus has 2. Our second kitchen is dedicated exclusively to our dogs in training. Specially selected diets help promote good health and proper nutrition. The well-being of our dogs is a top priority. In our Canine Wellness Center, our dogs receive x-rays and exams. We provide our first-rate dogs with first-rate care, both on the inside and the outside. A visit to our grooming room keeps our dogs looking their best and ready to go out and do their job in public. Being an assistance dog is a serious job that requires a great deal of training, time, and an appropriate temperament.
Push.
Our dogs open doors, literally. Our facility has numerous classrooms where we conduct our 2-week team training classes. They're also where we train our dogs. Canine Companions for Independence dogs are all Labrador Retrievers, golden retrievers, and crosses of the two. They aren't just the ears, hands, and legs of their human partners, they're also goodwill ambassadors and often their best friends. They open up new opportunities and create new possibilities. They're exceptional. Our dogs receive 6 to 9 months of professional training. Our top-notch instructors work with them to perfect their manners. Ignoring food on the ground is challenging, but crucial, and these guys seem to barely notice. They also learn to master over 40 commands, including retrieving items of all shapes and sizes. Big or small, soft or hard, the possibilities are limitless and unpredictable. They are taught to perform with confidence and consistency. Retrieving is a very important task for their human partners. And these guys make it look easy. They turn on and off light switches and push close doors and drawers. They are great partners and constant companions. They work hard for our mission and are great ambassadors. And at the end of the workday, it's time to play. It's organized chaos and freestyle fun. It's dogs being dogs doing dog things. And it's fantastic. And it all happens at the Miller Family Campus. Now it's time for the tour and my day to come to an end. It's bath time. Thank you for coming. We had a blast. I hope you had a ball. Come back and see us. We'll be waiting while we change lives, one dog at a time.
Well, that was absolutely wonderful. You know, when I see something like that, it really warms the heart. Hey, you know, Lauren, I don't really or didn't really know that CCI was the first and the largest organization. Oh, hi, Lauren. That was the first and the largest organization to help with assistance dog. Can you tell us now a little bit about the people that these dogs are servicing and how that's done?
Hi, from Canine Companions Northeast Region.
Can you hear me? Lauren, can you hear me? Lauren? Lauren?
We can't hear anything.
I guess she can't hear me.
We lost the sound.
We can hear you, John, but we can't hear
Say that
we
again,
can't
please.
hear Lauren. We're talking. We can't hear you, John. Hello?
Are you speaking? Go ahead and say something because we're not hearing it.
Yes, we're
We're
speaking.
talking right now, and
We can't hear you.
apparently-
We can hear you, but you can't hear us.
right. So we hear
Yes,
you.
we hear you.
Yes, we hear you.
Now you okay? We're back.
Okay. Yes,
Hmm?
okay. So we were saying that we didn't know that the CCI was
So
the
Kathy's not able to join us here?
yes. Yes, we're all here. We're all here.
Can
Now
you
let's
see
see.
Kathy now?
Can you hear us
Yes.
now?
I don't see her moving. I don't see her live.
There we are. Can you see us now? Can
Are
you
we
hear us?
streaming live?
Yes.
Okay. Just
We
want to make
see
sure.
you. We hear you now.
Can you hear
Okay.
us?
Hello.
We hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So
Okay.
everybody's online now.
All right. It looks as though our solo screen is what's causing the problems here, folks. When I put you on solo, you can't hear us. Okay. All right. What I wanted to know, Lauren, was can you explain to us?
We're not seeing Kathy though. Or hearing her.
That's okay. You don't need to see me. Let me do it this way. Can you see me this way? Can you see me this way? This would be fine. We'll keep it this way. Okay, Lauren, explain to us
Can you give us an
About,
idea what's going on here? What we're waiting for? Or
we're
we start
talking.
with questions now?
Yes. Can you
Yes.
hear us?
I hear you. I don't see or hear Kathy.
Okay. I hear Kathy on my side. You don't hear her,
No,
but
she's
I
frozen.
hear you.
Yes, she's
Okay.
frozen in the screen. We're not seeing her. And
Okay.
so
So
if you want to start off with our questions for
yes,
Lauren.
I think the question was, Lauren, how did you get involved in this service?
I got involved 17 years ago where I was a college student full time. I took a job in their kennels here at Canine Companions. I was working as a kennel technician part time while I finished my degree. And then when I finished up my degree, I just had worked for Canine Companions for 3 years at that point, fell in love with the mission and what we do here, and wanted to get more involved. So Canine Companions has a great on-the-job training program, an apprenticeship, where they teach you how to train dogs. And so I was accepted into that program and moved out to our national headquarters in Santa Rosa, California, and completed my first apprenticeship there, and then relocated here to New York. And so getting involved was easy. Staying involved is also easy. The dogs and the people, being a part of that has been one of the best things I've ever done.
What is the mission of CCI?
Canine Companion's mission is to place exceptional dogs with exceptional people. So we train highly skilled assistance dogs, and we serve folks, all types of different folks with disabilities other than blindness. So we're serving children, adults, and veterans with disabilities. Most of the folks that apply to receive an assistance dog from us are affected by their disability in such a way where their mobility is limited.
We see
Your
Kathy now.
approach is first for the client who has a need, or you start with the dog and you start training the dog and try to match the dog with the client? What is the
It's really
approach?
both of those things, the evaluation of the dog, the training of the dog, and the evaluation of the client are happening simultaneously. That training starts at 8 weeks of age. And the folks that apply to receive a dog, they're required to go through a 5-step application process in order for us to determine if they qualify and would benefit from one of our dogs.
Can you take us through
We
the
see Kathy now.
process for a client, for instance?
I'm
The
sorry?
client wants to have a dog. The client qualified to have a service dog. So what will be the process from the moment the client approach you and end up with having a dog?
The process there is they hear about us and they submit an application. We review that application, and from that point we can determine whether or not we could take the next step, which is to get to know them better, talk to them, really get information about their lifestyle. What does their day-to-day look like? Who lives with them in the household? Do they have other pets? Do they have any dog experience? And what do they need from an assistance dog, and how would they benefit? And so from that step, we're going to have to meet them in person. They're required to come to the training facility here on Long Island in New York. And we'll meet them, talk to them, get to know them better, but then also evaluate their natural dog handling tendencies. So they'll meet some dogs, they'll get to work with them. We'll coach them through how to command and work with one of our dogs. And then at that point, that final step, they're either accepted because they can benefit, or we can't serve those people at that point. But usually at that 5th step, we've already pretty much determined that we can serve them. And then they are accepted onto our waiting list. There's about a year to 2-year long wait right now for an assistance dog. And we invite them into class. It's called team training. It's a 2-week training course in which the dogs are fully trained at that point. We just then use those 2 weeks to train the recipient how to utilize their new assistance dog. And we, at that point, when they're invited, we pretty much have like a preliminary match figured out of which dog's going to go with which person, because our classes range from, anywhere from 6 to 16 people. And if we have several dogs that we think would match well with a recipient, we'll invite them into class. They'll participate in the 2 weeks, and they'll be matched with one of the dogs at that point.
Great. On the other side of the equation, how do you select the dog?
That's
Breed.
even more
As I
extensive
read
than
it,
that.
it-
Our dogs are evaluated when that starts at 8 weeks of age. So a little baby puppy. We are, tracking their progress, making sure the dogs are suitable for assistance dog work. And then when they're about 18 to 24 months of age, they matriculate in what we call professional training. That's when the professional training staff takes over, and they continue with the evaluation of the dog and then teach the dog the more advanced commands, like picking up items off the ground that the recipient drops, or opening doors, turning on light switches, tugging open doors, things like that. But during that process, that's about a 6 to 9 month process where they're in professional training. They're learning all those advanced things, but they're also being evaluated for the appropriate placement for them. So about 40% of our dogs are deemed suitable for placement. And so that means those dogs we're going to need to evaluate what type of placement do they need, because every dog is different, just like people. And the dogs, that matching process for them is equally as important as the matching process for the people that we serve. So we need to determine what job is best fit for any particular dog.
Thank you for this.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
You can. Oh,
Yes.
phew. Okay. Lauren, I have a question. There are different types of assistance dogs. I went to the website and I saw that you had hearing dogs. Tell us about that.
Sure. Our hearing dog program is located at 2 of our regions. Our national headquarters in California, Santa Rosa, California, and our southeast region in Orlando, Florida. So the hearing dog program serves folks that are hard of hearing or deaf, and those dogs are trained to alert their recipients to sounds in their environment that they wouldn't hear, like the doorbell or a smoke alarm or the oven timer going off.
Okay. All right. Now, what about facility dogs?
Our facility dogs are, that's a placement where we're placing dogs with professionals that work with a population of clients or patients that are in some way going to benefit from having an assistance dog. So, for example, a physical therapy gym where they're working specifically with people who have had spinal cord injuries, occupational therapy. The dog works in a lot of ways as a motivator to motivate through the rehabilitation process. When folks are learning how to walk again or learning how to, use their hands to throw a ball. It's a huge motivator to have a dog waiting for you to throw the ball so they can go run and get it and bring it back to you, as opposed to the therapist or a family member.
Right. Okay. Now, the next one is skilled companions.
Our skilled companion group are children and adults who are either under the age of 18 or who can otherwise are unable to handle the dog independently. So then we bring in an able-bodied facilitator. Sometimes this is a parent, sometimes it's a spouse, and these folks work as a team. Usually it's like a 3-entity team where there's a recipient, a facilitator, and then the dog. And they work as a team where the facilitator facilitates all the commands that the recipient needs the dog to do for them.
Okay. And then we have the service dog.
The service dog is the adult over the age of 18. It's a duo. It's a dog and a person, one-on-one. And they utilize their dog for everyday tasks. They work as like their arms or legs. A lot of the folks that we serve that apply for a service dog a lot of them use wheelchairs. And so those dogs, when you're affected by your disability in such a way where your mobility is limited, that can affect your ability to bend over and pick something up, or open a door, or reach a light switch, or reach your medication that's on the counter. You know, the dogs are trained to help provide more independence for these people so that they don't have to rely on family members, spouses to ask to do things for them. They can ask their dog to do it, and their dogs happily do that for them.
Okay, and then the last category is the assistance dogs for veterans. Will you tell
So
us about?
our PTS program is a new program to us, and we are serving veterans with post-traumatic stress. And so those dogs are used to alleviate the symptoms of post-traumatic stress. And so it's really utilized a lot in public environments where the recipients, you know, the symptoms of PTS can limit a recipient to, you know, being anxious out in the world, you're anxious when going into public places where there's going to be other people, there's going to be crowds, you know, such as the nature of, you know, how our veterans are affected by PTS. And so the dog helps alleviate that anxiety by providing an icebreaker, a barrier to provide more personal space in public environments. And it really helps, you know, notify the general public, hey, I've got a service dog. So, you know, that it identifies them that they have a need for a service dog.
Okay. Now, one of the questions that I get all the time is go to a shelter to get a dog. Don't adopt from a breeder, etc. Now, I know that you have a breeding program. Could you share with us why it's so important to have a breeding program for an assistance dog?
Sure. Yes, so Canine Companions has their own breeding program. We're breeding Labrador Retrievers and Golden Retrievers and crossbreeding the two to make a Labrador Golden Retriever cross. You're gonna meet one later on this afternoon. The breeds are specific because of the needs of who we serve. Their temperament is so important because they're people pleasers, they're food driven, they want to do the right thing, and they're very people oriented. And so that companionship, that lovingness that that breed strives for is what the people we serve are looking for from their assistance dog.
Okay. Lauren, because I was going to show a video at this time, but because this broadcast is a little glitchy, I'm sure you know that when you go live, sometimes you can have glitches, and we are having them today, unfortunately. So if you wouldn't mind, could you do the demonstration now to show us the service dog or the assistance dog, what they can do and how they're trained?
Absolutely. We have an instructor here today. Her
Okay.
name is Leah Jacobson. Leah is here with Boise the second. He is currently in professional training, so he still has some things to learn, and he is going to show us today some of the commands that a lot of the people we serve are going to utilize. So Boise is a male Labrador Retriever, Golden Retriever cross. As you can see, he looks like a black lab, but he's got some Golden Retriever in him. He's about 2 years old. And so he is pretty much ready for placement. We just need to find the right placement for him.
Leah, go ahead and start us.
All right, so I'm going to be showing some different commands that Boise has learned. And these are all commands that we teach here in professional training. We build upon what the puppy raisers have already taught the dogs, having them for 1.5 years. And then we take that and we kind of add on some more commands as well. So I'll be showing you different things kind of all around the room. But I'm going to start with that retrieve command. So having him pick something up for me. Boise, let's go.
So Let's Go tells the dog to follow the handler by her side and follow the leash, follow the handler, and the dogs are all taught to do that command next to all types of equipment. So here you're seeing a wheelchair being used. Get tells the dog to pick something up like a glove.
Nice job.
And he's going to hold on to it for her.
Boise, sit.
Sit clearly.
Yes.
Tells them to sit down on the ground. He'll hold that glove and deliver it to Leah with the lap command. Now, lap tells the dog to put its its body into the handler's lap. This way, it's very sweet. It's a great way to interact with your dog and snuggle and show them some affection. But the nature of the people that we serve, typically they're limited by their disability where their range of motion is going to be affected. So the lap can be utilized to deliver dropped items to the handler.
Boise, let's go. And I'll show one more. Boise, get. Sit.
So they're taught to pick up a variety of items, you know, household items, things, everyday items that people do drop.
Sit.
Hold on to them.
Nice, bud.
And then deliver them.
Yes.
He wants to do a lap again.
Good job.
Good boy.
Give.
And then she could tell him give, and then he'll release his hold of the item.
Boise, off.
And Boise loves the lap command.
Yes, he does. All right, the next command that I'm gonna show, we'll go over to this wall behind me, and it's gonna be the light command. So he's gonna turn on the light using his nose. Boise, let's go. Boise, light. Yeah, go ahead. Almost. Light. You got it. Yes. Woo-hoo.
Again, really helpful for those folks that are affected where their range of motion isn't going to be able, they're not going to be able to reach a light switch.
And they're taught to both turn on the lights and turn them off, still using their nose for that command. Another command that they do is called push. And push tells them to close a drawer or a door or target an automatic door opener button. So I'll show both of those things. So we'll go back over here. Boise, let's go.
Again, Let's Go tells the dog to walk calmly by the handler's side and follow the handler.
Push. Yes, good boy. Nice job. Good job, buddy. Let's go.
Do that one again.
Sure. On the other side. Ready?
They're taught to perform all commands on both sides of the handler.
Yes, nice. Good boy. Let's go.
He uses his nose to activate the button that will open the accessible door. And now we're going to close a drawer.
Keep on. Boise, push. Yeah, all the way. Yes, good boy. Nice job. Good. All right, and I'm going to show you guys the tug command. And tug tells the dog to grab onto a cloth strap and walk backwards. So they could do a tug with a door, opening a door for someone. They could do a tug on a laundry basket, dragging the basket across the floor. Some of our clients take this command and sort of tailor it to their specific needs and have the dog learn how to tug off a jacket or a sock if that's something that they need extra help with. So we'll show the drawer. Boise, let's go. Ready? Boise, tug. That's it. You got it. That's it. Come on. Oh, so good. Drop. Yes.
He grabs hold of the strap. That strap there is like a training tool that we provide for our recipients. They can make their own. You can see it's just braided fabric. Dog grabs on, gets a good grip, walks backwards once he has that good grip.
Yep. Yeah. Nice.
Good. And
Good. Drop.
And then when told, we'll release with the drop command. And you can see Boise takes his job very seriously. You know, he's wagging and he's happy to do it, but he's very serious about his job, very purposeful with the behaviors he does.
All right. Another command that our dogs know how to do is the speak command. And speak just tells him to bark. This can just be a fun thing to do with your dog, but a lot of the people we serve will tell a neighbor that they just received a service dog, and if they hear the dog barking repeatedly, to come check on them because they might need some help. So it can serve a very important purpose. So Boise, release. Speak. Speak. Yes, good boy. Good boy. And he'll bark until I tell him quiet. Let's see. Yes. So another command I'll show is a command called fix. And fix tells him to untangle his foot from the leash. So something that happens often when you're walking with them. Boise, fix. Yep. Yes, good boy. So he lifts his foot up and untangles it from the leash. It's something that happens to me just walking my pet dog, but I'm able to untangle it. Some of the people we serve don't have that ability to just reach down and untangle that leash. So if the dog is able to do it for them, it saves a lot of extra aggravation. The dogs are also trained to specifically retrieve their leash if it is dropped. So Boise, leash. Yeah, that's it. You got it. Nice. Yeah. Oh, you silly. Yeah, good. You got it. Almost. One more time. Boise, leash. Yes. Wait, sit. Good. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, you know, Boise still has some fine tuning to finish up before he can be placed, and so that's why we have that 6 to 9 month professional training period, so they can be perfected prior to going out in the world and doing their job as an assistance dog.
Okay, well,
Okay.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you so very much. That was so impressive. I didn't realize how much really goes into training these guys. What a blessing! Now you rely 100% on donations and help, don't you, Lauren?
Yes, that is 100% true, that we are a not-for-profit. We rely solely on private donations, corporations. Folks that are interested in getting involved and supporting our organization can visit our website, caninecompanions.org, for more information about what we do, how they can support us, and if donating to the organization is not reasonable for you, we also have lots of volunteer opportunities as well.
Now, I heard that the cost for you to train is about $50,000. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. For the
Wow.
breeding, the training, and the placement of an assistance dog it's going to be near $50,000 per dog.
Now, what happens, let's say, now last week on our show, Lauren, we had, we talked about fake dogs that are supposedly service dogs, and they go and they bite an actual service dog, and the service dog breaks the command, and then all of a sudden they no longer can be a service dog. They lose their credentials. What happens to those dogs, those, what do they call it, change of career dogs?
Oh, a dog that is released from we call it a released dog.
Okay.
Or a change of career dog, yes. So not every dog is going to be fit for placement.
Okay.
You know, we are very, very careful with our breeding, and we breed for temperament and we breed for health. But despite that, if the dog has a chronic condition that is going to require, you know, lifelong medication, or if the dog has, you know, Labrador retrievers have been bred for a very, very long time to, you know, help out with hunting. And so naturally they've had this prey drive, you know, bred into them. You know, the type of placements we're making here, you know, a dog that sees a squirrel or a bird and tries to chase after it clearly is going to pose a safety risk to the people that we serve. So if we see any sort of prey drive, you know, that's a dog that's not going to be suitable for placement.
Okay, and the last question that I have for you is, what are the do's and don'ts that you would say to someone that sees an assistance dog and has, even though it clearly says do not touch service dog, what are the do's and don'ts that people should really recognize and adhere to when it comes to seeing an assistance dog?
Yeah, my advice with any dog is you should always ask before petting a dog, especially with an assistance dog. If it clearly indicates that it's working, it has a vest on, and it's in a public place where pet dogs aren't allowed, always ask. You know, a lot of the people that we serve, you know, they utilize their dog as an icebreaker, you know, especially the kids, the children that want, you know, the world to see them as a person and not a child in a wheelchair. You know, the dog is used as an icebreaker. It's used so that, you know, you're no longer the kid down the street with the wheelchair. You're now the kid down the street with a really cool dog. And so a lot of times our recipients that are children they do want to interact with the public. They do want you to ask, you know, hey, I saw you had a service dog. How cool. May I pet your dog? Sometimes they'll say yes. You know, I'd say a lot of times they'll say, yeah, sure, you could pet my dog.
Yeah.
And that's what we instruct our graduates to do. You know, be polite, tell people they can pet if they ask. And if you can't have them pet your dog in that moment because it's going to distract them from the job that they're doing, then just politely decline. Sorry, my dog is working right now. And if I allow you to pet him, it'll distract him from his job. But thank you very much. I appreciate your interest in my dog and the Canine Companions program. And we instruct our graduates, spread awareness. You know, let people know out in the world that have never seen a service dog or have never heard of Canine Companions. Spread the word of what we do here. You know, let them know that they can participate, they can volunteer, they can support us in so many ways, and educate them about what assistance dogs do for people, you know, and how important it is to ask before you pet.
Okay, I know I said I didn't have any more questions. That was the last one, but I do. I have two more. A puppy raiser, I would imagine that it's got to be really very tough for them to take a dog in, be with it for all those months, and then have to give it up. What is the case with that? And I heard that you have like a shared puppy raising program now. And well, you can address that one first.
Sure. I can personally, because I've raised 2 puppies myself, and one of them was released from the program and the other one graduated from the program. So I have both experiences there. And the dog that was released, I adopted him. He became my pet. But when I heard that he was released, my first feeling was disappointment. You know, our volunteers work so hard towards our mission to raise these dogs appropriately so that they can be placed as assistance dogs. That's what they take very seriously. They want these dogs to succeed, and they know that they have a huge role in making that happen, and also a huge role in changing somebody's life. I mean, that's really the ultimate volunteer experience. So my other guy that did graduate, I can honestly say, and I told myself I wasn't going to cry, that it was the best thing that I've ever done in my entire life. It's unlike any feeling I've ever had to have played that role in changing this man's life. I mean, this dog does so many things for him. And I couldn't be prouder of him the dog, myself, and the recipient.
Okay, and now my last question, for sure this time, my last question is follow-up. Ellen Lockwood told me yesterday that, which I did not know, that you continuously follow up with the dogs. You just don't, they just don't go to the recipient and then that's it. That's the end of care. You have a diligent plan. You want to share with us about that?
Yes, yes. Well, Canine Companions recognizes that our recipients are going to require that ongoing support, and that's something that we provide for them. And personally, that is my full-time job. Is I am the graduate program manager, and so I tell my recipients I'm their go-to dog expert in a way, so that they understand that they can come to me, excuse me, with any need related to their dog, whether it's an issue that they had in a public environment, where somebody asked them, hey, you can't have your dog here, or there's a health issue, or there's a behavioral problem, whatever the case may be. I'm here to support them. It is a requirement on their end too, that they do need to stay in contact with us, especially in the beginning. Very closely after placement, we require pretty frequent follow-up. And then ongoing support becomes a little less frequent after that, as long as we, the organization, determines that the teams are doing well, the dog is in excellent health, and that our dogs are being well cared for.
When a disability progresses, what the new commands? What are they?
Yeah, so John brings up a really good point, is that, we train about 50 commands here that fit into, anybody's lifestyle, given the population of people that we serve. But a lot of our recipients are going to take, like Leah had mentioned before, are going to take those commands, use it as a foundation and kind of build on those commands. So I'm able to provide them that training and support too. So, they come to me and they say, hey, Lauren, I want to train my dog how to open up the fridge, grab me a soda, and close the fridge, and bring it to me. That's something that we're not training here. And during professional training, the dogs certainly have the skills to be able to do that. And then I'm here to provide them, here's your training plan. Here's step 1, here's step 2, here's how you progress, and guide them along the way so that they can achieve those goals, those independent handling goals.
Well, I would imagine that there's got to be a very emotional attachment that must exist, and there has to be a real connection before it's really going to work as a team. Is this true?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the
the emotional attachment that occurs, is that one of the things that you look for to make certain that the match is correct, that there is that connection, that you can see it, you can feel it, that it is going to work?
That's a really good question. Absolutely. I mean, I think just the nature of our matching process, that emotional aspect is part of it. The dog has to fit with the person's personality, and the person's personality has to fit with the dog. They're each giving each other what they need, so it's not just limited to, hey, I'm a recipient and I need my dog to do all these things for me because my disability affects me, where I'm limited and I want more independence. The dog has needs too, whether it's a dog that really requires, snuggling every night, or requires, a pretty active lifestyle. They go hiking a lot, or they like to play fetch all the time. These are those different qualities that each person, each dog has, is certainly going to have an impact on their emotional connection. And absolutely, you're not going to apply for an assistance dog, and we're certainly not going to provide you with an assistance dog if you don't have a love for dogs and you're not open to having an emotional attachment to one. And that just happens by the nature of having a dog that works for you and looks to you for attention, looks to you for affection, but looks to you for, hey, what can I do for you?
Well, you must have a ton of success stories, that's for sure. From a recipient standpoint, the life-changing things that happen for them, are there many stories that you have? I mean, you don't have to tell us right now because we want you to come back on the show. you must have stories about people that realize that this dog was a real lifesaver for them, that it totally changed their life 100%, that they couldn't function without that dog.
Yeah, of course. There are so many. But there's always one that stands out that I love to share with folks is longtime recipient, older man, his service dog, with him one day out in the snow, out in the cold, and he dropped his car keys as he was getting into his car. Now, if it wasn't for his service dog being able to pick up those keys for him, then this recipient would have had to have waited for someone to come along, and who really can tell how long that would have been. And I'm talking freezing temperatures, snow coming down. He's helpless in a sense. He can't pick up those keys on his own, but having his dog there with him, told his dog he picked them up for him right away. And now he's safe from the elements. He can get into his car and not have to wait for the chance that someone was to come by.
Wow. Lauren, this was just such an excellent show. I'm so sorry that we had technical glitches in the beginning. As I said, this new technology is it's in beta testing, so we all have to work through the glitches, but I'm so happy that you were able to be on the show. I'm going to show the video, one of the videos, your last one, at the end here, so because I don't want to lose you again. So thank you so very much for being on the show. We look forward to doing many more with you. And Gitan, did you have any last questions you wanted to ask? I'm sorry, I hogged the whole show with my questions.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
You cover all the points we were planning to cover. Thank you, Lauren, for your inside view and your word of wisdom about dogs and dog service and client. So we hope to see you again on the show very soon.
Okay.
Definitely. Thank you so much for your interest in our program and your support and helping us raise awareness.
Okay, and we'll put a link to your site so that people can get in contact with you, and if they have any questions. And please be on the show again, Lauren. You were excellent. What a great guest. And thank you, John.
Thank you, everybody.
Guys.
Thanks.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, so what do you think, Eitan? That was excellent, wasn't it?
Yeah, it went much better than expected, and it's a beta test we're doing. We're using beta software, but once we overcome the beginning of the glitch, I got the cue from you to ask question, which I did.
Yeah.
And then we got a video, then we picked up to the pace, and I look at the sheet you provided, and if I look at all the content there, we cover 99.
Yeah, thank you, John. John is the one that gave us the outline for the show,
right.
And he did a great job. So, great content. That's wonderful.
We cover 90% of that content, maybe 99% of the content. That's good. I'm very happy with that. And
okay, folks, so it's Canine Companions for Independence, CCI.org. And now we're going to actually share a video with you. And if we lose you at the end, then we will just end the show because we've had some glitches, like we said. So let us show this to you. And here we go.
I first got out of the hospital and was medically retired in 2007. When the military let me go, I went home and was kind of lost, but I was still finding my way and trying to understand my new normal. It was for a good year or 2 years, I was struggling to just leave my house, both because of the anxiety of not putting myself in situations that I couldn't use my physical abilities, but also because of the social anxiety and the stigmatism, the mental issues.
I've been an athlete my entire life, competitive sports. Now suddenly I have to re-identify, well, how am I going to do the things I once did before? Lots of highs and lots of lows, depression and anxiety, and how am I going to live a life injured with a hand that doesn't work, and then how do I live a life now without a hand?
when you first came back from Vietnam, you were called a baby killer, a drug addict. You were spit upon. You know, you weren't appreciated for the service person that you were. The PTSD still stays with you, but there are coping mechanisms that you have with PTSD, and one of them is the dog.
So it wasn't until I met another wounded veteran who had a service dog, and it was in meeting this guy, and it was actually his dog that was able to kind of crack that hard shell that I had put around myself, that protective barrier, and I was able to start really the road to recovery mentally as well as physically.
Canine Companions for Independence is a nonprofit organization that enhances the lives of people with disabilities by providing highly trained assistance dogs and ongoing support to ensure quality partnerships. Hiring America visited the Miller Family Campus in Long Island, New York, and met veterans whose lives have been dramatically changed by the impact of a four-legged friend.
Canine Companions made a lot of placements with veterans over the years, and what we found is they really serve a dual purpose. Certainly, if someone has a physical disability, the dogs are trained to mitigate that by helping them, whether it's hold a door open or pick something up that they've dropped or whatever that may be. But the sense of confidence that a person will get just from having a dog with them, whether it gives them more space around them physically in a crowded public environment, or just the courage to go out because they're not alone, someone's got their back.
Jason, get. That's my boy. Come on, get. That's my boy. That's my boy, JJ. For somebody that lost the use of his hands and ability to bend over and pick up an item, that is a task that may look very simple, but it's very important to me.
I always knew that Lombard was a very special dog. And when I got the call that he was graduating and that he was paired with a veteran, I cried. I don't cry that easily. But this guy is a veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan. He has multiple challenges. He has a wonderful wife and 3 little kids. And not only does the dog make a difference in his life, but he's made it easier for his wife and for his kids. She doesn't have to go pick up things when he drops things. The dog is there, and the dog never leaves his side.
First time I cried is when Agatha died. I've seen so much death in Vietnam that I thought I was the coldest human being because I couldn't mourn at my parents' passing. I felt uncomfortable when friends had passed because I just couldn't cry. Agatha brought my humanity back to me.
Wow. That was really, really good.
Yeah.
Well, this is the end of our show, folks. And again, we apologize for the glitches. Is there anything you want to add, Gaetan?
Well, thank you for our guest. Thank you for CCI. Thank you to you, Kathy, for preparing that show. We will be back next week. And if you like the show, you can tell your friend, and your friend will tell their friend. And this is the support we need, is the number of people watching the show. It's telling us that you have an interest in what we're doing, and we try to improve. We start this show with, no resources, no means, no financial support whatsoever. We have 10 days to go on air to air the first show at the request of Facebook Watch. And we start like on the boom like that. Even if we prepare a lot of material in the past 2 years, I have 10 show per season, all prepare, but now we're looking for the resources to put in place, the resources to go and do the show for broadcasting quality. And right now we're bringing content to you, which we believe is of interest to you. And if you agree with us, tell your friend and let them know about the show.
Yes.
Thank you, Kathy, for the Dog Connection TV. It's a fantastic platform.
To both of us, Gaeta.
Thank
You're
you.
my partner and a friend of almost 25 years, no, almost 30 years. So,
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, thank you so much for being with us. We love you dearly.
Yep.
And have
See
a
you
good
soon.
day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.